So I just came back from East London, and before we left, we had a very powerful prayer circle. I was performing actually there with the gents, PE Male Ensemble, over the weekend. And before we left, we had a very powerful prayer circle, and the lady that was praying for us, they said something to us because were a few groups noted was there, and us and a couple of others. And she said that we are part of a team, and it's our duty to ensure that the ball does not fall on our hands. And that really got me thinking, because as I was doing my notes, actually, it made me realize that sometimes we don't even know that we are part of a team. And that's how the enemy, that's how he manages to sway us and deviate us and make us unfocused on the things that we want to focus on. And I started seeing that everywhere. Like, I started seeing it at church, started seeing it in my community, I started seeing it everywhere. And I want us today to talk about that. So let's do it. So, as you guys all know by now, I am Seventh-day Adventist, and I also am a minister through music. Through music, of course. I minister through music. And if you know anything about music and the religious space, music is probably one of the most contested segment in any congregation, because I truly believe that because music is very youthful, it's very vibrant, it breaks boundaries, it sort of elevates everything. The more traditional ministries, they tend to cringe, for lack of a better word, whenever it comes to the music ministry. And my church is not different in any shape or form with that. The youth will always be at uneven terms when it comes to how this department should be, governed. Like, the elderly people at church will always have a very reserved way when it comes to this. But I truly believe that it's not our duty as the youth to convince the elders of the church to try and convert them or to win them over. But I truly believe that our duty or our purpose is to ensure that the spirit of worship exists in everything we do. The spirit of worship always needs to be there. So one of the quotes I came across was, different vessel, but same spirit. And I feel like that's the transition that we are coming into right now as a church and as a congregation, that there's always this imbalance between the youth and the elderly. And trust me, the enemy loves it. He may have not created the division between the two, but he's using it. He's using it to the fullest potential, because, like, what's the point in trying to destabilize us from the outside when he's just like existing on the inside and he's doing everything he needs to do that? Because when we have that division between the two of us, that's when we truly lose the connection of who we are. Through my observation, this thing popped up again. And I have to say, in a very controversial space right now. Far more controversial, I believe, than the church. And that's Isindu. Being Xhosa, being who we are. Because both my parents have memories of a time where they used to live in the Bundus, Emakaya. My mom is from Xhosa, so even some of the stuff where I have questions about how things used to be there, she was always like my encyclopedia for that. So I really feel like the severance of what team we belong in also impacted and affected us in our nationality as the Xhosa nation, because I have absolutely no root when it comes to who I am as a Xhosa man. Everything that I believe I have learned is through my own curiosity and because, as I said, I grew up a Seventh-day Adventist, and I still am and will always be proud of my religion and where I come from. But I truly feel that there is also a part of me that I truly need to recognize and to have a relationship with. And the Indoyobang Xhosa is something that I cannot take away from me. And I am not saying now, I want to practice all these things, because I know how very touchy of a subject, as I said, this can be from people who grew up very religiously and who are trying to expand their knowledge of who they are and where they come from, because these things have been made to be so taboo and so foreign to us that sometimes we even demonize them. So in my journey of Kulamna, I took it upon myself to actually educate myself, things that I grew up around with. And I am very fortunate, Gemna, to have somewhat liberal parents in the religious terminologies, if I may put it that way. They are very open to having these discussions without fearing that, so I am able to sit down with my mom and be like, okay, kulenjani, what was the vibe like? Nanilande landuni, what was everything? Notata. Whenever I have an opportunity to talk with him, we used to grow up in nature. We didn't even have izinto zamasiko, so khela nazo zonke izinto. Yeah, also even the stuff that I grew up fearing, or to find out that what we really focused on, or how we really came about was not even those things. So I really feel even in us being severed from Isindu Setu and how we grew up and who we were before everything else came about, is also a very, very deliberate system that the enemy again is trying to use, because the more you are deterred from who you are, like a practical example, I was having this conversation with my father of how diet of abantu abamnyama or abantu abansundu, and how when they introduced a new system for us, they also had to introduce a way of living, a way of eating, a way of dressing, and all these things. And for someone that knows who they are, trust me, that thing will always izawuphikisana nalendu iyo. You run into such a thing because you're having diseases you don't even understand. Right now we're having cancers, we're having this, we're having all of these things. And it can even stem from something as simple as diet. If we could revert to eating how we used to eat, some of the stuff, some of our illnesses would go away. And I truly believe even in the spiritual realm, some of the things that we have severed ourselves from doing, how we stopped being in touch with nature, how we're always inside, as in lean, how we're always on our phones, how we're always like in cars and cooped up. We don't take walks, we don't breathe, we don't eat proper food. So really, when you lose sight of your team and who you belong to, it's very easy for you to be manipulated, and it's very easy for you to be swayed and to be butchered and to be killed with illnesses and all these things. And I really wish that in my generation, we could find our way back. We could find our way back. Not only does this thing affect us in our tribes, I don't even like to call us tribes, and our nations, Yeah, well, it even affects our actual nation or our country as South Africans. Because as I was having these discussions, with my dad, even recently on our trip in East London, I was having some deep conversations with Pudloyi Somali Daloid, as I refer to him, and he told me some scary stories of how one story really set in my mind. And he was probably 5, 6 at the time, but because his home was right close to the graveyard, whenever during the apartheid days or apartheid era, whenever there would be funerals, because people were not allowed to gather in numbers or in masses, so there would always be police presence and soldiers, even in funerals, because people had to attend funerals. So comrades would go to each other's funerals in huge numbers. And of course, because they're not allowed to congregate in numbers, there would always be violence and uproar and all these things. But the houses where he lived were all the houses that are the first houses that are closest to the graveyard. All the comrades knew that these houses were their allies, because every time they would go to the funeral, go to the graveyard to bury one of their comrades, they would always be shot at, they would always be tear gassed. So these houses that were the first houses that were facing the graveyards, in the back they would have buckets of water, Vaseline and stuff, just to ensure that they quickly cure their ailments and all the stuff that we're going through at the time. So it's these crazy stories that I hear, and then someone would tell you that South Africans don't know war, or South Africans have never seen blood, so that's why we are so privileged. This country needs to fall before it rises. This country needs to go to civil war, and all these crazy things that people have been speaking about ever since these movements of putting South Africans first have been coming up. And it's mind-boggling when the people that are right here, I'm not talking about ancestors here. I don't even want to get into the stories my dad told me, because he was an active member in the struggle. Yeah, well. So this just our bantu basaphila bayasixelela of the struggles and everything that they went through in order for us to gain the freedom that we have. However, there are people that are trying to sever us from the history. There are people that are trying to sever us from all this information, trying to make us feel like we are soft and we still need to be hardened up. Bruh, we are living testimonies of, in fact, some of the things that we are going through, some of the traumas that we are facing as a youth of South Africa is because our parents and our uncles all went through all of those things. Recent, bruh, I'm talking about recent. I'm not talking about hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about people that are still here, that we can still sit down with and still talk about these things. So never let anyone tell you who you are. Never let anyone sever you from your true identity. You know yourself more than anyone else. This episode today took a very, very, very sharp turn, because I truly was not planning on even speaking on some of the subjects that I spoke about. But I really feel that someone has to take a stand. I really feel that someone has to speak for us Samatit, because that's where they really hit us the most, especially as gents. Some of the stuff that we suffer from, some of the stuff that we are always burdened by, the root of it all is because we don't know who we are. And if you could take time to sit down, and not be afraid of asking questions, because these people are still here and they are still within our reach, they are still within our access, and they are the best libraries, trust me, for us to figuring out our way forward. Yeah, man. I really hope someone gets something from this. I don't know if I should do the conclusion that I wrote. The conclusion that I wrote let me do it. Let me do it, man. When it comes to church, it's important that we don't lose the true essence of the spirit of why we are even gathered there. The minute we start arguing and bickering about how we should present it, or why is it not this and why is it that, I really feel that we are losing the essence of the spirit of lendo sizeleyo enkonzweni. As abantu in the Xhosa nation, we should never forget our morals and our values. In fact, I'm designing a t-shirt that's going to be tackling this topic, but anyway, just a plug. So we should never forget our morals and our values. Ubuntu betu. Because the minute we are severed from that, we are lost. And we are so easy to conquer. We are so easy to manipulate. And we're so easy to take over. And as a nation, the South African nation, I truly believe that the hunger, the fight that our parents had, that our uncles had, still lives within us. The country can be a bit unstable. We may seem as if as in that direction in where we are going. But if we can draw from that strength, if we are able to connect to that side of who we are, that part of who we are, that history, nothing and no one can stand in our way, because those men, those women came from nowhere and they basihlangula as a country. By the skin of our teeth, we were hanging. But these people fought with stones. This is what I always say to my African brothers and sisters. With stones, bruh. They fought with stones. So we also have a responsibility to not let this ball fall on our hands as a youth of South Africa. Maybe this is a plug I also need to put in. We need to go vote, guys. We need to go vote because we have a huge responsibility of carrying a freedom that was fought for. It's in our hands to carry, to nurture, because I don't believe freedom is something you are handed and then that's that. You also have a responsibility. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to nurture this freedom, protect it, make sure that it's not squandered, make sure that no one abuses it, make sure that no one abuses us, no ubuntu betu, as they always say, ubuntu. Let's not let people abuse ubuntu betu. And it's not ubuntu betu. Yeah, well. So yeah, I think that's all I have for today. IDYAN is out.